The Pleiades is known as a seven-star system making up part of the Taurus constellation, known as the Seven Sisters. There are actually more than 1,400 stars in the Pleiades system, but they are not seen easily as the seven are. The actual word Pleiades means doves in Greek. Only 6 stars can really be seen, but the seventh is there, known as the lost sister, so it makes up 7 when you include this dimmer star. The main 7 are named after the daughters of the Titan Atlas, who was said in Greek mythology to hold up the world, and they were the offspring of the beautiful ocean nymph Pleione. Atlas was well known for his ethereal offspring, and so the Pleiades were nymphs that were companions of Artemis, the goddess of the forest, both related to the oceans as half-sea nymphs as well as the forests, and they were the sisters to the Hesperides, the goddess of the garden and the golden apples in the farther west, the Hyades, the rain nymphs, and Hyas, son of Titus, an archer, killed by a serpent. The main 7 Pleiades sisters being Maia, meaning eldest or mother, Electra, meaning shining or to flow, Taygete, meaning long-necked, Alcyone, meaning queen who wards off evil, Seleno, meaning swarthy, Sterope, meaning twinkling lightning, and Merope, eloquent. Their names all derived from each of their stories and roles separately, and often who they birthed as mothers. The story of their ascent to the sky is that as they were walking in the forest one day of Artemis, Orion the hunter pursued them for 7 years in lust. To avoid the romantic advances of the great hunter Orion, they were finally transformed into a flock of doves and set in the heavens by god Zeus. They are viewed as positive omens throughout cultural history around the world, and their ascent at dawn herald the planting and navigation seasons. They hold an importance in Hinduism and are mentioned in the Rig Vedas as the 7 mothers who prepared the soma, or the drink of the gods. Later, they became tantric deities that taught tantric intimacy. Many native tribes, such as the Hopi, considered themselves to be from the Pleiades, and many other native tribes spoke of the star people that visited them from there. There is also ties to the Norse gods and goddesses that possibly humanity worshipped as visitors as Nordic beings, and then they also have connection to the Tuatha from Ireland, a mysterious group of highly advanced, beautiful humanoid beings visiting from another world, arriving from a mist of clouds, that were finally banished onto the earth. As you can see, the Pleiades have been in the collective for some time now, but not until Billy Meyer of the Swiss Alps in 1975 was said to have contact with his Pleiadians that they became more prominent in the collective. Although contacted at an early age, his main messages took place between Semyase, a female scientist Pleiadian, very interested in helping humanity evolve spiritually and into enlightened humans. She spent a long time with him physically and sometimes only mentally, and gave much wisdom of the nature of existence and creation to him to spread to others. Whether you believe in the authenticity of Billy's photographs he was allowed to take or not, the Pleiadian contact report messages are very clear in teaching spiritual wisdom to humans. He called them the Pleiadians from the Pleiades, but for our collective to understand one another, I will refer to them as the universally known name, the Pleiadians. Although astronomers have searched for planets around the stars, it is still a mystery to them. However, there is an exoplanet that is in between Taygete and Maia that cannot be detected yet, but is starting to show that the Maia star does not act like the rest as it shows an object orbiting it. This is Era, just one of the planets we will discuss today. The cluster of stars is currently forming more planets right now to support life. The 7 stars are blue giants, bigger and hotter than the sun, normally making life uninhabitable. But the Pleiades has other exoplanets much further than the Earth is to its sun. There are also dwarf stars, with exoplanets that are billion years old within the Pleiades, not as the main 7. One day, hopefully, astronomers will be able to detect more of them as space investigation technology advances. The main 7 Pleiades star cluster was formed only 100 million years ago, so it is now widely known that the Pleiadians are actually descended from the Lyran and Vega group of beings and related to the Sirians and Vegans from the Lyran constellation. They are known as the rebel group in many ways, reflecting the Greek myth of the 7 sisters who ran away from Orion. They ran away from the Lyrans in search of their own home because of disagreement with how Lemuria was treated in the past. Most of the survivors from Lemuria went to the Pleiades, eventually after many years living under the schism between Atlanteans and Lemurians back around Lyra constellation. Many of the Atlanteans went to Sirius eventually. This is where the split happened, and only a few million years ago did Sirians and the Pleiadians become involved enough to settle their differences and live in peace, creating the Galactic Federation, known as the galaxy's emissaries, that is interested in including Earth right now as humans are advancing to explore in space. Pleiadians are also protectors of humanity as they continue to help battle the negative Orion groups and reptilians from Draco that are interfering with Earth in a negative way, keeping the masses asleep by drawing more focus on the material world rather than the spiritual one. In many ways, they are energy vampires, and the Pleiadians are here to help show how humans liberate themselves to be able to enter into a more peaceful future timeline. Not just their starseed souls, but actual Pleiadian beings have a close eye on humanity as large populations have settled under the earth in California, as well as still in hidden communities around the forests of Canada and the Swiss Alps. For this Lyran ancestry, they look humanoid for the most part, but they have remnants of the cat-like features that give them their elegant elfin look many have seen when channeled. They can be known to appear to people as thin and graceful, light-skinned and silver-haired or blonde, with large blue eyes as the Nordic people, but there are many varieties of looks due to them being from Vega as well as Lyra. Blue, purple, black, and brown hair, and darker skin tones can also be seen on them too. Over time, diversity came about around the Seven Sisters as the population grew around the stars, as is a reflection of all sorts of star ethnicities coming together. There are many different types of Pleiadians now. Pleiadians in general physically represent an advancement for humanity in which they can learn how to coexist with nature and the usage of technology in a beautiful future. Pleiadians are interested in eco-sustainable life that is healthy and beneficial to all life on the planet, including the animals. They also are spiritual teachers and guides that are closest in contact with humans energetically and willing to help, as their messages of wisdom can be channeled by anyone who harnesses their energy. They have many starseeds here right now, harnessing their energy of inspiration and creativity towards true freedom in changing the old systems of the world. Pleiadians are known to be more emotionally expressive than some other star races with a lot of joy in their hearts, but they can be a balanced collective of emotion and logic. They tend to carry more of the nature, feminine aspects within them, and even the men are more balanced with their feminine sides as well as masculine, and for this they can be sometimes seen to be androgynous to some. Oftentimes when channeled, it is hard to make out completely whether they are a female or male because their energy is very balanced within. There is so much confusion on the Pleiadians right now, whether they are good helpers to humanity or evil demons trying to take over Earth. By those humans more fear-based and following a smear campaign created to neutralize the Pleiadians by those who see them as enemies. I can tell you that although the Pleiadians are descendants from the Lyran group and are not a hive mind, they are very much part of a collective, and the majority of them have positive intentions towards humanity, understanding the concept of time and how Earth humans are related to them in many ways, and in essence, us later on, if humans evolve spiritually and in a positive way. Pleiadian starseeds will feel this love for humanity as well as connected to their Pleiadian family. They are the bridge between two timelines of present and future. This is why the angelic energy is often associated with them as guardians and helpers to humans. They represent a positive future of evolving naturally and spiritually into wise sovereign beings, whereas other star races represent often a less authentic path of evolution or a darker one causing their own destruction. Pleiadians are part of the positive polarity alignment within the collective. When you admit to yourself you are a Pleiadian starseed, you are a human soul awakening to your spiritual nature and a future of beautiful possibility. This is really what we represent as Pleiadians. If you had to see a Pleiadian city, you would be shocked to see how much greenery and flowers there were mixed in with their high-tech buildings and homes. Planet Era is a vast network of central buildings to work from, and outside of it are the peaceful modern homes with very advanced technology. They are very spiritual beings and enjoy taking part in community rituals such as water healing baths, and surround themselves in ancient Greek-like temple structures they can retreat to often outside of their cities and hold special spiritual ceremonies together. You may even see structures like the Stonehenge there as giant crystals formed in a circle. Pleiadians are usually seen wearing silver headpieces and elegant flowing white or silver clothes when not in a spacesuit. It is just easier for them to look natural and have their clothes reflect their healing nature. Robots and other forms of artificial life help their lives in ways we could dream of on Earth. Nature is abundant as they have learned to completely coexist with nature and do not cut a single plant or tree down, but rather live amongst them. Some Pleiadians that live on other planets have arch-like adobe homes with open skylight, very small, but exactly what they need to live comfortably. Some other Pleiadians like to live more by the water and shorelines of their planets. Some other Pleiadians enjoy living underground in their crystal caves and elaborate cities. On Earth, Pleiadians actually live under the earth in these crystal caves and have made Earth a home under Mount Shasta in California while keeping an eye out for humanity. Deep in the forest wilderness of Canada and the Swiss Alps, many communities live off the grid and have been considered to be like elves in a hidden community. It is no wonder that many with Pleiadian heritage feel like elves too, by the strong connection to nature that they carry within. The symbol of the Pleiades is a 7-pointed star to represent the unity of the 7 sisters, as well as the dolphin, which has become connected with them due to the connection to water and it being a highly evolved animal on Earth. Sometimes the flower of life is also a symbol related to them, since they can be very druid-like and are very nature-connected beings that find patterns within nature that answers the cosmos' deepest secrets and mysteries. For more info on the different types of Pleiadians that develop their own cultures, physical traits, and attributes, please see the links below. Pleiadians represent the part of the Prime Source that wishes to move humanity to the next stage of their spiritual growth. For a powerful message about what it truly means to be an enlightened human from Semyase, then please see the link below. Called the Enlightened Human, Pleiadians operate from the higher dimension like the Sirians and other star races, but because they are in the collective the most and mostly involved with humanity, they are closest in dimension to them, residing on 4D Earth time space dimension, but operating at 5th to 6th dimension consciousness-wise. They are adept like other star races at non-linear time travel and understand time in a concept humans do not yet, but will in the future. They are healers in touch with the lighter ultraviolet ray realms of consciousness and can heal with a touch or a few wise words. This is why they often appear as bringers of joy and beauty to many who work with them, and many become conduits for this energy themselves, where this creative expression simply flows through them in their daily lives. Around the universe, they are known as the Silver Healers, and other star races seek them out for assistance and wisdom. As someone who identifies as a Pleiadian myself on Earth, I hope I can bring more of this energy to you in my next units, as well as on my channel, High Elven Wisdom and Love. To work with the Pleiadian family, imagine yourself connecting to a silver or white glowing light that warms your heart with joy. Pleiadians want to bring in the power to create your own happiness in your life, and not wait for something outside of the self to come. You are the creator of your very own inner universe you experience. You are creation itself, perceiving its reality it creates through fractals of consciousness. Decide today to create joy in your life, pure joy, by believing in your dreams and higher visions of reality. This is how ultimately you become a servant to the Prime Source. Let the Pleiadian light fill you with joy and excitement in starting a new day of creating whatever you desire to experience while in physical form. Let go and allow yourself to be in flow with the universe as you experience joy and laughter in the act of creation within your own life. The following exercises may help you get in touch with your Pleiadian nature. I suggest writing them down so you can refer to them in the future. But if not, then just listen. Number 1. Pleiadians represent a future timeline in humanity that exists as a probability, when everyone becomes spiritually evolved and moves away from the reptilian mind within the human brain, using more of their neocortex. Write a few sentences on what you hope to see for the future. What do you think will happen to religions? What do you think will have to happen for religious, atheist, and spiritual people to live as one on this diverse planet? What can we do right now in the present to ensure this peaceful timeline of spiritual coexistence instead of war? Number 2. Do you yourself feel a deep connection to the Fae in folklore and fantasy? There is a reason why the Pleiades were companions of Artemis, the goddess of the forest. Often these beings appear in humanity's subconscious as having energy like the strong-headed but graceful elven folk bound to Middle-earth in J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, or more innocent healers like the nymphs of legends. Do you resonate with nature in this way? Write some ways you connect to this collective oversoul of the Pleiadian being. Number 3. Pleiadians, regardless if people see them as bringers of joy with their energy, they can also be very warrior-like with their Lyrian ancestry. There has been millions upon millions of years within the Pleiadian history on battling the negative groups of the reptilians. Do you sense a feeling of guardianship within you? Write a short essay on what you have observed in this world so far as a soul in modern times. Number 4. The Pleiadians are deeply connected to the Native Americans and their way of life, being respectful of nature and living off the land in community-driven ways. Do you have ties to Native American history, either by bloodline or just by feeling like you were one in a past life? Write your thoughts on the ways of the Native Americans and what you have resonated with throughout your life. Number 5. Pleiadians really want to bring a sense of empowerment for expansion of consciousness that ultimately leads to the experience of more joy in your life. In what ways have you been not focusing on your own joy, and what are some ways today you can start? Write down a set of new goals for yourself as you embody the Pleiadian energy of joy in your heart. Number 6. Pleiadians really want humans to understand they are connected to them through this collective, and many are related even as star beings. Earth is full of humans with many different star races and past lives, all living together as one now on Earth as a central hub. How can you become an active worker in keeping the harmony with all the races of beings as the population grows? Write down any racisms or fears you may have about others, then write down a common denominator with people that you share. This will help lead to more unity consciousness and a harmonious nature. Number 7. The world is losing a sense of borders, and the walls between people are being blended. We are heading for a new Earth that will unite the world together instead of having nation against nation and bloody wars between one another. Write down some hopes you would like to see on the new Earth as it forms in the collective. What do you personally wish to see? This starts an energetic imprint, and you will see it on Earth in the future of your experience. Number 8. Pleiadians are concerned with the treatment of all sentient life. In what ways can we help our animal friends and nature more on Earth today? What can you personally be responsible for to better take care of the Earth and the animals? Number 9. The Pleiadians' road to evolution has been through embodying divine love into their beings as creators. In what ways do you think you can start to bring in more divine love into yourself and into others' lives? Write down a few ideas. Divide your paper here into 2 sections in which you are bringing divine love, and then you are bringing in maybe fear or hate, and you don't even know it. Don't judge yourself. Just be aware of your responses to those that are in your life and see how you can transform it into actually showing them divine love. And you will see that those that bother you or are annoyance or on the category of those that just you find yourself giving more hate towards rather than love, you will see that when you give them the divine love energy, they do have the power of transformation given to them, and it will change your relationship with this individual. Number 10. Pleiadians are at co-creation level with Source, where their art, technological advancements, and political societal structures are in flow with prime source of creational energy for all life on their planets, just like the Sirians. What can you start to create in your own life? Be it physical or mental, what thing have you been putting off instead of actually making it happen? Every soul has a power of creation within them as vessels for this energy. Brainstorm a few ways you would love to create in your lifetime, and then go on and do it when ready to explore your expanded capabilities. So this concludes our lesson. So everyone have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all for the next lesson for 7 on Monday.